From the lead singer of Destiny's Child to the Beyonce Knowles we all know and love, we are talking about the multi-talented billionaire, mom, business owner, legend. With her upcoming release of Renaissance Act 1, we figured there's no better time to dedicate an episode on our podcast to giving a tribute to Beyonce's impact on music. We will also share our thoughts and expectations of the highly anticipated new album. Let's get into it. So welcome back to another Keiko Talks episode. We are super excited about this episode. We're talking about our girl Beyonce, like we know her or something, but who doesn't love Beyonce?
Like, Beyonce is like honorary big cousin to like our whole generation.
Absolutely,
well, she's not really auntie in my opinion. Yeah, she's like your older cousin, like your cool older cousin. I think
I'm gonna go ahead and call her auntie because she's getting on up there in age.
I mean, she's getting on.
I'm still 22.
Now. She's only 40. I mean, that's still fair. A big cousin range for us.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I guess I still see Beyonce like 03, like 25, 26.
I don't. I see thick mom Beyonce these days. And she's definitely
I do see her. That's what I'm saying. Like, to me, she's always my big cousin. I just feel she's always a big cousin. So.
That's fair. I mean, on my spectrum, she's just that young auntie that's a really cool auntie,
Yeah.
So.
But she's not
anyway,
yet.
That's true. That's true. Anyways, we're talking about Beyonce tonight. Super excited. So I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all who Beyonce is. If y'all don't already know, y'all should know. But if you don't know, when I was like planning this episode, I was like, should we do this? But I was like, for people who don't know, if you are the oddball that does not know.
The one person on earth. But yes, go ahead.
Anyway, so Beyonce is a singer, songwriter, actress, producer, mom, business owner, and much more, right? She is a Texas native that is definitely the greatest of our time as far as like performing, making a lot of hits, working with several people. I think she has her own record label. I'm pretty sure she does. And so she has a team of people that she works with as well. She's kind of like our Michael Jackson of our time, right? In a female body. And she's really well known for the experience that she creates while she's performing. And definitely some bops. We call them bops, but like hit songs, you know what I mean? Like good bangers. So yeah, you also may know her from Destiny's Child, which the group Bomb, as well as her solo career. So now she's just Beyonce Knowles. She's no longer a part of Destiny's Child, or the group no longer exists. But I do think they kind of like work together a little bit here and there.
She brings out Kelly and Michelle. I mean, she focuses really on DC3. She don't really bring out, the other ladies from the earlier incarnations of the group. But she still brings out Kelly and Michelle. I mean, I feel like her and Kelly definitely like grew up together, and so I really feel like we're probably on the phone every other day. That's what I feel like.
They're like
probably one of her best friends. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, which is like cool for Beyonce too, because while she's doing her solo career, she like did not forget where she came from. So like kudos for her to her for that, because some people like they forget.
She brought both of them out at Coachella to do a song.
Yeah,
So like,
all these I love that
they still perform. I still this is before we get into the Beyonce now.
I already know what you're about to say. This is your little hope and dream. That's probably not gonna happen. I already know what you're about to say.
Opinion, and I've said it before.
Oh, here we go. Keep on wishing, child. Keep on wishing.
I think there should be a Destiny's Child reunion album at this stage.
I know you're not the only one, but child. I don't foresee that happening. I just don't.
Just one reunion album or a track, a single, something. I think people that would normally be a misstep, but people love Destiny's Child, DC3, Kelly, Michelle, Beyonce. They love that so much. I don't think people would be upset about it. I really think.
Why fix something that's not broken? You know what I mean?
It's not fixing. It's not even fixing. They're not trying to fix anything. They're just coming back together like they never really.
So you really think they're gonna be able to make an album? Michelle is over here singing gospel now. Kelly has her own little lane, and then Beyonce has her own lane. You really think that come back together?
I think it could come back.
It's gonna be a gospel album. Like what is it gonna be? Praise and worship?
It's gonna no. It's gonna be inspirational mixed with new pop, like a pop R&B sound.
I don't like the new pop. I need it to be free.
I don't think it would be a misstep. I think any other group it would be a misstep. I don't think any of the 90s R&B, Boys to Men don't need to get back together. I don't think like New
That's a
Edition.
classic right there. Now, hold on.
No, but Boys to Men doesn't need to get back together. I don't think any other like 702 doesn't need to get back together. I don't think
Agreed.
SWV needs to get back together. I don't say
Absolutely
this for
not.
any other group. And I have never said
Escape needs to
straight
go ahead and
edge.
dismantle.
I'm saying, but Destiny's Child, because they left on a well noted, historically noted, positive note, and it's almost like they never really left. All
That's
I'm
how
saying
you
is,
leave, though.
I don't think it would be a misstep. I think any other group, it would be a misstep. I don't think it would be a misstep for Destiny's Child. That's me. And I would tell Beyonce that to her. I would tell that to Beyonce and her team in person. I'd be like, y'all should do this. I just
What
really
if they
feel
like secretly tried to do it and it was like just not it?
I mean, they could have secretly tried to do it. I feel like they should have. I feel like they probably just haven't tried to do it because they have all been leading different lives and like going on different paths and stuff. And Beyonce's been on tour for like, however long. Really, before she started having children, she was on tour pretty much like consistently. So
yeah, even when she had Blue, before she had the twins,
yes, and she's gone on tour and had shows and stuff since then. So I don't think she's totally like Beyonce never really stops working.
Correct.
So
I do appreciate that she like takes time to like spend with her kids and stuff like that too, because like
she should.
I think that's very like necessary, especially like with how the world's going. Like it's important to have present parents, regardless of your status or who you are or what you do. So commendable to her too. Obviously, we don't know the ins and outs. We get little snippets of Beyonce's life because she's very private. But from what you see, she's very like family oriented, very much a part of her kids' lives. So
yeah, I get the feeling she picks her kids up from school somehow.
facts. I can see that.
I really actually get that vibe. Like we obviously don't know where they go to school and like where things are or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I do feel like Beyonce would go pick her kids up from school and she'd be like, I'm picking my kid up because that's my kid.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Like very like regardless of status, I am a mom first. Which I appreciate that because like a lot of people like lose that with beyond like Beyonce status. I'm talking about like with a little bit of money. They're like, oh, those kids forget those. There's a nanny kind of thing. And while a nanny is there to assist you, they're not there to raise your children. So.
I see it all the time, like out here, like people who's like somebody my age taking care of like a little kid, and I'm like, I know that's not your child. I know you're a nanny.
Oh, for sure.
Like, where's mom and dad? And they might be working and stuff, but like it does. You miss out on those interactions with your child because you have someone else like taking care of them. And I feel like Beyonce would just demand. And I feel like it's like her Southern mom, her Southern roots. I was like, no, that's my kid. That's my seed.
For sure. Like, and Beyonce, I feel like she lived a really good life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying I just feel like she'd be like, that's my baby. I'm picking them up from school. I'm making sure that they have, you know what I mean? I make sure my child's good for me.
Facts.
So
for sure. Yeah, I think also too, like Beyonce lived a life where she had two parents, you know what I mean? She also had, I feel like very involved parents. And so she probably wants to continue that for her kids, regardless of her status. So that's commendable.
Yeah.
Especially with the demand that I'm sure she has. So.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry y'all on that rant. I had to get out of my system because I do feel like I've said this for like forever now. I just really feel like there should be at least one Destiny's Child reunion album.
See, I don't think there should be an album, but what I do think there should be is I think they should do like maybe a Destiny's Child like reunion as far as like a concert. That I would attend. I'll have to scrape up my pennies to go, but
I still yes, the reunion concert. I don't think they should do a reunion tour. I think it should be just a concert. If they do a concert.
Well, okay, yeah, but like what if it's that concert is not in my city? Like then we probably need to do a tour.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah. But see, I feel like once you get into tour, then you get into has-been lane. And I don't want them to cross over into has-been lane.
Oh, I agree, but then how are they gonna come to my city unless y'all only gonna perform here where I'm living?
That's true.
Like that's the only way you can get across.
You can do a song because a song can reach people further than and like I'm saying, it doesn't even have to be a whole album. I mean, a whole album. It could be a track. And here's the thing. You could even put the track on Beyonce's new album.
No.
One track that she was like, I'm bringing back Kelly Michelle for this one thing, like she did with Coachella.
Maybe that's what we can expect from Renaissance. Because, like, think about, like, the word itself, Renaissance, you know what I mean?
It's like, yeah, that means rebirth.
Yeah,
Or
so maybe it's a
like
rebirth of, like,
artwork. It's really the artwork.
Well, that's
but
true.
Yeah, maybe that's something she got up her sleeve. Like maybe she does have a. Wait, hold on. Oh my God! Wait.
Now your brain's going.
What if this entire album is nothing but like a Destiny's Child album?
I don't think it's bad now. I think maybe a couple of songs with him on it.
I mean, I know this is far reaching, but I just had a thought. And she's only naming it under her name for right now.
I don't know about that. I think maybe like a song or two with them on it. Okay, cool. But I do not foresee the entire album. I don't foresee that.
Okay. That's hopeful wishing for me.
But apparently, I'm assuming there's an act 1 and maybe an act 2, maybe more. Who knows? We'll see.
I'm just like Renaissance, because when you think about rebirth, Renaissance is kind of like this like idea of returning to the classical, returning to what you already kind of were. That's what the Renaissance. If anybody who studied art history knows that the Renaissance is actually not like a totally new art form that was created. They were just returning to classical artwork. They were rediscovering like Greek art, right? Because like the Renaissance was happening in the 1500s, so they were returning to the idea of like of classical Greek artist, right? Like Michelangelo was sculpting the body in a way that was mimicking Roman and Greek artist sculpture. So he was even looking back at that time. The Renaissance is about taking the old and making it new. So what if this hold on, I might be onto something here. What if Beyonce is really looking at this from an art history perspective?
Yeah. I mean, music is art, so
something. Yeah, she really could be taking something. She could be following in that same tradition of taking something that was classical to her, Destiny's Child, and then renewing it. I don't know. I mean, we'll find out in 2 weeks. We'll find out. Like, if my hunch is correct on this, I feel like I should get some sort of monetary reward or something because I called it.
This is not. What is that thing called with the basketball? March Madness. This is not March Madness. Sorry, babes.
I want to replay this episode. If there's even if there is just one track with Kelly and Michelle on it, I want people to know that I had this.
This was our idea.
This was our suspicion. We deduced this from the word Renaissance, Act 1. Yeah.
That's funny. I just want you to know there is not going to be any monetary gain from this. This is not March Madness. I'm so sorry. It's just not. So
it's fine.
Beyonce has bigger fish to fry.
Calling it. At least calling it.
But here's the thing, though, because Break My Soul has come out. So I think that's like track number 6 or something like that on the album. To me, that's not giving Renaissance, but, whatever.
Well,
if we're going with what we think what our prediction is of what the album would be, that is very like, back in the day, sure, like house music, quote unquote, is what it's called. I guess you can say, like, to me, house music, I call it like Vogue music, very like, Vogue friendly. And to me, that's not giving Renaissance. Like, I'm thinking Renaissance in the sense of like old Beyonce, maybe 2003 Beyonce, Destiny's Child vibes, like beginning of her solo career vibes. Track number 6, Break My Soul, is not giving that. So I don't know. We'll see.
But she also could have, she very well could have put that out as like one single. She made it. Yeah. And then the album could be something different.
Yeah, I will say about Beyonce, you really never know what to expect because she's very
purposely so.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, she's known for albums where it's like an array of like genres, right?
Yeah.
So for like this last album, Lemonade had a little bit of country in it, a little bit of like secular indie almost vibe to like full on hip hop pop. So it's a little bit of everything in her album. So just because, you know, that one song is released and, you know, we're predicting what will happen based off of that particular song with our idea of what Renaissance means, that really tells you nothing. So,
Yeah. I do think, though, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but Beyonce, not saying that she's not critical, but I don't know if she would have dove that deep into Renaissance as far as like art, like the art history of it all, like the way I just kind of explained it. I think she might. People when they hear Renaissance, they only think about rebirth, but they don't think about it as a return to classics, which is what it really. When you go into an art history class, that's the first thing they tell you is it's not about just becoming. It's not just a new form. It's actually returning to classics. So I think
I
that
disagree with that because I think Beyonce is very like strategic in what she does, and I think
I
she's
think
very
she is
strategic in the
too.
things that she chooses. Just like
She's
Lemonade,
not so
like
pop oriented. I
um,
would say she's more popular
yeah.
oriented than
But
like.
Beyonce has the advantage of being able to be more whatever she wants, really, right? And decide things regardless of fact. People are going to support regardless because it's just Beyonce's name on it, right?
Yeah.
If she produced, you know, the little song Kanye West produced, the Poopity Scoop song, just like people supported that just because it's Kanye West, it's going to be the same thing regardless.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right. Let
she
me
really
listen
could
to
release
Beyonce's not
anything.
critical. I do. That's why I didn't want to say like I don't. It's not that I don't think Beyonce's not critical. I'm just saying when but I guess because she is such a popular artist, a lot of times they do rely on gimmick. And I'm not saying
Yeah,
Beyonce. To me,
that's
Beyonce
true.
has not been relying on gimmick, even in her last album. Like Lemonade, to me, was not gimmicky, like in the slightest bit. So I'm not saying that she does rely on gimmick. I'm just saying I'm hoping actually that she is at taking the art history approach from it and really analyzing what that word and what the movement of Renaissance really is, and then is really taking that into her own work and saying, how do I interpret this in 2022 as a musical artist, a popular musical artist? You know, that's what I'm hoping she does. Especially calling it something as major as Renaissance Act One. You know,
Very true. I don't know. Like I said, Beyonce is very just like she can pretty much release anything and people are going to support. There's like for I think the self-titled Beyonce album, the one I don't know when the album came out, but the one that had like Mine with Drake, Drunken Love and stuff like that. At first I was like, no, this is not it. And then, you know, a couple weeks later, I'm like, okay, here we go,
yeah,
Drunken Love. You know what I mean?
I
Like
really does
loving
grow
the
on
album.
me.
Now I love a lot of that album. So, you know, it
Yeah,
always grows on me just because I'm sure the name as well as,
I do
you
feel
know.
like Beyonce's music certain deep cuts will grow on you. There's
True.
at one point there was like I liked all the major Beyonce songs and that's all I could really name, but now I know so many of her deep cuts that I'm like, no, this is a banger. Like I just found out a song. It's actually on the last Destiny's Child album, Destiny Fulfilled. It's called Free. I don't know who wrote it, who produced it, but I don't know why I didn't know it. But it's really it's a good song and it's like inspirational. It's about like, cutting yourself free from toxic relationships, from toxic people, all this stuff. And it was like one of the lyrics is like, I'm
I
an
don't even
ego
know that
set
song.
free.
I don't even know that song, so that's interesting. Maybe I need to go
Look
back
it
and
up.
listen.
It's a really good song. And it's like an R&B bop. It's called Free. Listen to the lyrics. It's about leaving something toxic and being like, I'm free now. I'm choosing me
Oh, I love
over
that.
this. And they call it Free.
I love that. I need to probably go listen to that.
One of my favorite lines is like, she says, now, ladies, I got my mind back. I've been there. I've done that. I really love that line because it's like,
Facts.
and she kind of like proclaims it in the song. She's like, I got my mind back. You know how powerful that is? It's just like getting your mind back. That's the biggest freedom a lot of times when you get out of toxic situations. It's like, my mind is back. My body's back. My soul's back. I'm connected to myself again, to the energy again. And now I'm stronger than when I was before. So I really love that. That's I've been struggling these last couple of weeks, and that's been helping me. I'll just say that.
I'm not gonna lie though. Like I think I was watching this thing on TikTok the other day, and it was like what you listen to is kind of like manifesting, right, in your life.
Mhm.
And I'm not like a huge person into like necessarily like the idea of manifesting, but I do think like if you're in a positive space, you can create positivity around you, right? Or if you frame your mind to
Yeah.
think about the positive things and not the negative things, then you kind of, thrive in that space, right? But I've just been like really prioritizing my peace, and I've been listening to like India Irie.
Mhm.
Homegirl was just manifesting the entire song. Okay. Same
Yeah,
thing
her
with like
that
early
first
Beyonce.
album.
Like, I'm here for this. I'm really here for this.
Yeah,
So, which they don't make music like that anymore. I do think like
agree with
Beyonce's
that.
Lemonade album was very like inspirational, historical, and stuff like that. Which I feel like she kind of tied in some of those old roots from the, '03, early 2000 era into the songs now. But it's all about like the beat and the can I get up and dance to this now is like,
Yeah, I think a lot of things, unfortunately, are very gimmicky, and like as
yeah.
far as the music industry is concerned. And like I'm gonna be honest with you, like Beyonce to me is one of the last artists who's been able to become a huge artist, but like really is
Yeah.
invested in the lyrical content. Like her and Adele
Hmm.
to me are really invested in
Hmm.
lyrical content. Um,
Yeah.
on
On the
that
big scale. I do
stage,
think
on
there's
that
some
big
others
scale.
too.
There are others like Tori Kelly to me is highly invested
I
in
love
lyrical
her.
content.
I was literally about to say
There,
her.
yeah, all kinds of artists like India Arie is still making music. She's like invested in lyrical content. So
Hmm.
there's people who are really invested in the lyrical content. I'm not saying that there aren't, you know, is but on that massive, huge, say their name, everybody will know who they are scale. I think
Yeah.
Beyonce really is.
Yeah.
You can
For
tell
sure.
the reason she takes 2-3 years in between time and between albums is because she's right. Like the songs she's coming up with are not just something that she's just like
Yeah.
ass and PUSSY. Like she's not just repeating that.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Sure. And I think
she's
also too, a good thing
yeah.
about Beyonce is she's typically not just like I feel like as far as the music that she creates, and that she puts on her albums, whether she wrote it or did not write it, it is something that's probably personal to her. She's not just doing it because I think it's going to be a hit. And
Yeah.
that's the difference. Is likely true to Beyonce. Beyonce really, in my personal opinion, writes from her experiences in
Mhm.
life, and maybe those experiences around her that have also been true and personal to her as well. Right?
Well, she has the
It's
luxury of
not
doing
like
that now.
she what
She has the luxury of doing that now because she's so
exactly.
like noted in her career. Really, like you
Hmm.
said, just about everything she does is going to sell. And I think that it's like she's reached the Oprah status to me of I can kind of do what I
Hmm.
want. It
Oh,
was
for sure.
within like reason, obviously, but like I've proven myself time and time again as an artist, and like people are gonna rock with what I'm the direction I decide to go in because they just rock with me as a human being, as a
Exactly,
person.
exactly. Yeah,
You
her
know,
name is carrying the weight at this point. Like she literally can produce anything. She could make a song about knocking on a door, and people would be
Mhm.
like, "Yes, Beyonce. That's
Exactly.
it." So it really wouldn't. It really does not matter what she would put out. But I think she also has pride and value in what she releases. That she
Yeah.
wants to put out quality stuff.
And
So
that's what people I think invest in her is because they know she's invested in herself as a quality
exactly.
artist. So they
Hmm.
invest in her investment of herself. They're not investing in
Exactly.
just like whatever the product is. And I think that's a, I hate to be like, they did it better back, like the girls were doing it back in the day and they don't do it now. But it's like, that's the truth. I think people really are interested in Beyonce because Beyonce is first interested in herself
Exactly.
and
Yeah. And
creating
she'll take
quality
all the time
content
she
for
needs to
herself.
make quality content.
Yeah, to make quality music and like, not saying that some of the girls who are coming up now aren't, but it's like people are more interested in what you can immediately produce. They're not invested
Mhm.
in use as much as the artist,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no,
which
today's
is
time, especially with the artists, it's more about can you create a bomb beat? Can you make something somebody can dance to? It doesn't really matter
or
what
do
you're
you have
saying. A
the
lot of time they're
visual
saying
sexual
nothing.
appeal, or do you
Yeah,
have the
or the sexual appeal. Yeah, I was watching some video the other day. I think it was about City Girls, and I was like, "You've got to be kidding me!
like what
You've
is
got to
this?
be
Yeah,
like, well, first of all, what is this lyrically? First of all, second off, they were like doing this little dance, and I was like, that's the video. Like they're literally just sitting down, just like kind of like rolling their belly area. I guess I don't even know how to describe it, but I was like, you could have put me in that video. Like
yeah,
anybody could have did that. I could have did that. And I'm no professional by any means. I have no experience outside of like singing in the shower, badly. So like what? Like, oof, these artists really are not trying to produce quality, which I'm sure it sounds great. But that's why you have these artists today are in and out. It's not going to sustain you.
Yeah.
Nor do they really have, in my personal opinion, true talent. It's just like, I can barely understand what the city girls are even saying.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, it's just, you hate to say, especially now, like we're in such an era of like popular like female rappers, and it'll be like, these young ladies come out of Miami, or they come out of like Memphis, or they come out of like New York or Chicago or somewhere like metropolitan or whatever. Like, or it doesn't have to be exactly metropolitan, but they come out of somewhere, right? And you're like, they all sound roughly the same. Like, I really think
not even roughly, they all sound the same.
Like, no offense to Meg Thee Stallion, and I love what she stands for, I really do. But I think that the city girls could rap the same lyrics she's rapping, just like who's another rapper? Lotto could rap the same lyrics that
I couldn't tell you there's Lotto and Megan.
And who's another rapper? There's somebody else. Like a lot of them,
there's a bunch.
To me, they're not distinguishing themselves as these like. They're not distinguishing themselves.
Honestly, could not tell you the difference between like Doja Cat and Megan. I can tell Cardi just because her accent, but like lyrically, could not.
Yeah, lyrically, they all do this exact same thing, and I think, unfortunately, like I don't know, it's one of those things. It's like capitalism doesn't, or let's just say capitalism, but the industry is not building. It's not really interested in innovation. It's interested in like kind of exploiting the same
what sells
profit, because it's what's popular right now. But the danger of that is when it's no longer popular, all those girls get dropped.
Yep.
For whoever the new style of rapper is, and then they will get dropped. Like you hate to say it, but it's like you see them rising to fame and like getting this, all this, but it's like, honestly, sis, I don't. Even for Meg Thee Stallion, I don't see it more than maybe 10 years for her.
Oh, yeah. I think she'll, like, be known.
She'll ride it out. It should be known, but, like, she'll fade just like Lil' Kim did, or Nicki Minaj did, or just, like, kind of, unfortunately, a lot of them did. It's because they're not producing something, in my opinion. They're not changing with the times, and they're not evolving, but they're also not doing something that is a sustainable art practice in the same way. They're trendy.
For sure. But here's a question too. So like these new females that are coming into the industry, right? So like, for example, you're Megan Thee Stallion, your Cardi B's, your whatever. Do you think that they could ever reach that status, like a Beyonce status?
I think so. I mean, I think with the era we're in, right? I think artistically, maybe not. Just speaking strictly from an artistically standpoint, because really none of them have demonstrated. Now, I'm not saying they don't have the talent. None of them have demonstrated the ability to dip and dive into the different genres, eras, and evolve the way that Beyonce has. That's the truth.
Yeah, that's true. And I think also too, like just because their name on it doesn't mean it sell. Like it probably has to be something that's like a good bop, or like lyrically someone relates to. It's not just because of their name. I don't think a lot of the times. For some, sure, but.
That's what I think.
I don't mind Cardi B. I don't mind Megan Thee Stallion, but I'm not going to go listen to their music.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, we're not trying to like shit on them, because like I listen to, like, I love that Plan B song by Megan Thee Stallion. That's great.
Really?
But, yeah, I love it.
That's so odd to me. Like you're literally like Aretha Franklin by day, Megan Thee Stallion by night. Like what?
I kind of love. Yeah, that's true. Well, okay, not always. Sometimes I just pop on, Megan Thee Stallion when you need a little.
But Courtney, you literally, Megan Thee Stallion is the only exception from your Aretha Franklin.
Right.
Like your Anita Baker, your gospel music, Yolanda Adams. Like, that makes no sense, but all right.
Yeah, it is kind of random. Or I listen to like more older school hip hop, because I think it just has a better sound, honestly.
Yeah, but they're like discreet about their stuff, right?
Yeah.
Megan is over here talking about popping lady cats all day and night. So very odd. Just very odd.
Sometimes I do listen to it, like, and I'm not gonna lie. Listen, what's his name? Walk It Like a Dog. Oh my God, what's his name? Santana.
Saucy Santana? Ew! Oh my God!
Sometimes
You
I
like
do.
Saucy Santana? Disgusting.
Yeah,
I'm
I just listen
repulsed.
to the songs. I'm not saying I like
Oh
necessarily,
my
but like
god.
it is kind of catchy.
No, there's nothing about Saucy Santana I enjoy.
We can talk.
Like
Let's see
nothing.
if you can walk. Let me see you walk. Walk, walk, walk.
No. That and my thing is that's like it wasn't that like a diss at one of the guys that cannot walk that he's like beefs with or something.
You know what? Okay, now I feel bad about that. I think it was.
I'm like, what? He's the guy that the rolling ray guy in the wheelchair. I
Oh
want to
my
think. I
god.
want to say that's a diss track.
Oh snap! I didn't. No, I knew about the Rolling Ray thing, but I didn't know it was a diss track.
I want to say, "Let
I
me
know
see you
you could
walk."
talk. Let me see you. Oh dang! Now hold on. This isn't making sense. I
Yeah,
know.
I want to say it's a diss track. Yeah,
Santana.
it's definitely a diss track to Rolling Way. So sorry. Yeah.
It's not funny. It's not.
See? And now it's no longer a good song. The meaning behind, but that just goes to show you example. Like it's
Beyonce would
really
never.
about
Beyonce would
exactly.
never. Beyonce is
She would
not.
never
I mean,
stoop
she
that
might
low.
mention like, "Oh, these haters, blah blah blah," and like put it
But
in
it's
a
about to
line.
be subliminal.
It's about to be subliminal. She's not about to do a whole diss track. She's
Oh,
even
absolutely not.
more mature than that.
No, exactly. She might put a line in there, maybe a couple lines or something like that.
Or
Just to diss the
like
haters
about
in general,
Courtney.
maybe. But one thing
Yeah,
she's not about to do is stoop to your level of ignorance and
yeah.
incompetence,
Because like
and your level.
dedicating a
So,
whole song to someone is a lot of work.
yeah,
Because
it
you put
is.
money into that, I'd be like, no, I'm putting my
Exactly.
lyrics in there. We producing this.
What
I'm
if that
making,
what song wasn't successful? You
huh?
know? And what
What do
if
you
that
say?
song wasn't successful? Then it would be like really a
Exactly. Yeah.
bust.
Yeah. Well, it's not all about success as an artist,
No, I
but
agree, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like these days and age, that's what people are doing. Like, your City Girls, your Saucy Santana, it's all about the money for them. Like, it's not to me because they really don't have any talent. You know what I mean? Like,
well,
I
you
don't think I
know,
don't wonder.
you don't
I
want
don't know
somebody here
about
said
James
like they
Spears.
don't have talent. They have a talent. It's not okay. It's not on the. There's levels to talent. Are they pulling
Agreed.
the Beyonce shows? No. Are they
Exactly.
probably ever going to
But
pull
I
the
think
Beyonce shows?
Beyonce's
No.
talent is out of genuine interest, though. So maybe that's how
And
she can
work.
bring that
Beyonce tied a lot of hard work to the way her talent has evolved over the years.
for sure.
And she's
I do
invested in her. She's invested in her craft, and I think
in
unfortunately,
her
a lot of
brand
people,
and herself.
yeah, a lot of people are not invested in the craft itself. They're
Yeah,
invested in making this one work, which is very different than being dedicated to being an artist. And
exactly.
Beyonce is dedicated to being an artist and has shown that time and time again. So
Exactly.
I think, you know, I think
So I
that's
have a
that's
question
a
for
big
you.
difference. Yes.
Okay, so say Beyonce was like one of the girls, like Megan Thee Stallion, just coming out. Do you think she would be as successful today?
You know what? I think because Beyonce is stepping into a space which is really not occupied by anybody, I think she would be. I think she
Really?
has a talent to do it. I think so because Beyonce has stepped into a space where who really is following up Beyonce? I mean, as far as like entertainer, true
Hmm.
entertainer is concerned, people aren't doing that. Even Meg Thee Stallion, she'll get on stage and twerk, but Beyonce, Meg Thee Stallion is not doing full choreo,
Yeah.
pyrotechnics, video, like, acrobatics,
Facts.
coordinating the whole
Fireworks
show the way
show.
Beyonce is. People aren't
Yeah.
doing that. So
Got the
I
whole
think
band out there. She's
exactly. I think Beyonce is really in a lane of her own is because she's helped create that lane herself.
You see, okay, so I have this theory. I don't think she would be as great coming out, right? Because I think back then they were more worried about the quality of the artist versus now
Yeah,
it's not about that. It would be like, oh, it would be a hard place to like come and do that and set the stage for that because the
yeah,
expectation is so
I
low.
agree.
You know what I mean?
No,
And
I
so like
agree.
they don't expect all that from anybody, let alone is anybody even touching that at this point.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I agree. She came about.
so
She came about in a different time
yeah,
where there wasn't much more of an interest on artistry. Like you had to be to me, you had to go to the record label and audition and sing, even if you
exactly.
were
You
going to
had
get
to
a
be
stick.
able to sing,
Yeah,
like
you had to audition for
voice
the
out the
record label
water.
still at that time. Versus now, I think before you need to have followers and a following before you go to the record label.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly. You
I
need to
think.
be famous. I saw this thing the other day. The new artist was like the label company was more worried about like are you able to produce TikToks to gain traction than like the
The
music of the
actual, yeah,
artist.
I
And like,
believe
see, you
that.
know what I mean? Like, you know,
I want
Back
to
in
know
the day, it wasn't
Beyonce
like
about
that.
what Beyonce thinks. I would love to talk to Beyonce about where she thinks the industry is going because she's been in the game for like 20 something years now. So she was
Yeah,
really around when there was a different time for how
facts.
people
But I
even
mean, and
got into it.
she's not even like really in like the business aspect of it anymore outside of like what she has for herself, like her own company. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a different ball game. Like she's able to run it how she wants to run it
Yeah. I
versus like
agree.
she is the
Yeah.
label now.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, and that's the luxury of having been in there so long. She's been able to build this stuff for herself so she can put out what she
Yeah,
wants and she can put out the musical style she wants.
for sure.
But I
I would
still
also like
think
Jay-Z's opinion on it too, because he grew up even before in the
in a different
industry
time.
before
Yeah.
Beyonce even got there. So
Yeah.
I would like to get his opinion on it too, because he
Yeah.
kind of has the same luxury. Like he can produce whatever.
He has his own label.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He can produce whatever, and people will support it.
Yeah. I still think they would, I get the feeling they would be highly critical of the way the industry has turned now because I think they see
Oh
it
yeah,
as like, this
a
is not
joke.
the industry we entered. And I don't even think if we did enter now, they would even accept us the same way
Oh,
because
for sure. Yeah,
the industry is not, it's not looking at artistry the same
for sure. And
way
I was
or
gonna say those
at
people who
all.
are really like good artists, like a true artist that are making quality music. Not saying that these people aren't making music. It's not at the standard it used to be, like your Whitney Houston's, for example, or your
Mhm.
like Boys to Men back in the day, right? So it's a different standard now, like completely different standard. And the same talent that it requires to be famous or be like the City Girls or Megan Thee Stallion is completely different now, right? So like those
Yeah.
who are on the talent level of like Whitney Houston or maybe like Boyz II Men or something like that, as far as a group is concerned, um, are not successful.
Yeah.
Not
I mean,
successful, but they're not on
monetarily
the
in this
status. Yeah, they're not on the status that like a Beyonce or a Whitney Houston would be on. You know what I mean?
hmm and we also want to make clear it's not that there's a lack of talent. Okay, there's never really a lack of talent in these situations. It's like who's getting notoriety. It's like where the political spectrum is lying at the moment. You know what I mean? Of like who gets pushed as an artist and marketed as an artist to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, it's really whoever sells. So
Yeah. So I really think artistically Beyonce would probably be like, I don't even mess with the young like what's going on now because I don't even understand it. Like this isn't even how I came into it. You know what I mean? I think Beyonce would be actually highly critical. I get that vibe from her.
oh yeah, I think a lot of artists from back in the day are like, what the heck is going
What is
on?
this? Yeah.
So
It's like a different landscape because like you said, like and that's why I think it's so when we go and back and listen to these oldies or like oldies, I think that's what feels so different about it is because like when I'm listening to Sweet Love from Anita Baker, I know Anita Baker spent I don't know how long writing those lyrics and then getting in
mhm,
there, singing her heart out live
mhm,
in the mic with the producer, figuring out the things like behind the scenes and like really cutting an album. You know what I mean? Like I
mhm.
know that's what was happening. And I'm not saying that like
Yeah.
Meg Thee Stallion isn't doing that, but like I just see Meg Thee Stallion getting sent some lyrics via phone, via text message on like a tour bus and being like, let me rap real quick, like her rapping on the back of the
Right.
tour bus, and then that becomes a song. Like I feel like there's I don't know. It's like where are we paying our dues? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm.
I just feel like Anita Baker, Wendy Houston, all of them, like they beat the pavement to figure out how I can get out there as an artist and really put my
Yeah.
voice out there because I feel like I got what it takes. And they did have what it takes, right?
Mhm.
Artistic, talent
Exactly.
wise. So,
And I think back then too, it
yeah,
wasn't so much of a focus on like performance and stuff like that. So
and the
you had
aesthetics.
a genuine artist. Like it's either you had to be able to sing or you had to be able to sing because that's what your performance was based off of, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Versus now, like it's not about singing. It's really about it. Can you sell? Is this profitable? Is this going to sell? Is this going to make
hmm
people move and groove and dance and stuff like that? Which is fine and dandy. We appreciate those hits, right? But they're just not sustainable. In 20 years, I'm not going to look back and be like, oh, you remember Little Baby making that rap song? Like, it's
Exactly.
nothing worth
Like, what?
remembering.
Yeah.
Like, who? And there's so many little babies out here. Well, I don't know what they call them, but little and whatever little names they use. There's so many of them. So it's like there are
Little
no like Anita
Nas, Little
Baker. That's a
Baby,
yeah, like Anita Baker. Her sound alone is very different from anything you've ever heard.
and distinct.
Beyonce, same thing, very distinct. Whitney Houston, very distinct. She was really doing her thing back then. Michael Jackson, very distinct. Even some of your groups like Boyz II Men, pretty distinct from other groups at the time.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have
I
that
think
today.
the biggest difference is when I think about all those artists, every one of them can open their mouths and like sing now, today. Like, and I'm not saying that some of the girls can't who are singing now, but I'm like, no offense, the Ari Lennoxes of the world are not touching Anita Baker, or like they're not even touching the hem of their garment kind of thing. Like, they're not Ari Lennox, Summer Walker, those new girls coming up. I mean, really, Jasmine Sullivan to me goes into that category very quickly, but she has proven that she can sing. But like a lot of them, unfortunately, I
think Jasmine can sing. I think Jasmine
Jasmine to me goes into that category. She's new. She's younger.
Yeah.
She goes into that category.
But she's been a while for a minute. Like, she's been since early 2000s. So
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. She really can. She, to me, is one of the few who can sing.
Yeah,
and is out there singing. And like, I would pay to watch her performance. Like, her singing. You know what I mean? And I feel like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even consider Jasmine a part of this time. I think she's still making music, but I don't consider her a part of this time. Just because she started like back in the day, and she still has that same vibe of back in the day.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, she still has that. She's very much still like R&B.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Maybe like a modern twist.
I just feel like the back in the day, not to be those people, like back in the day, everything was just so much better. I really feel like
I don't listen to music today unless it's like indie music.
Yeah, it's hard to get into the music today because it's like, I don't know how many times I can hear the P word repeated.
Thank you. Yeah.
How many times we gotta talk about you sleeping with something? Like, it's just, where's the substance? Where is the substance?
Yeah. Like, I need you to be talking about some real stuff, like some relatable stuff. Like, everybody has either vagina or penis. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, I can look down and see that. Like, I don't need to hear about it in a song. And I don't need to hear about popping it everywhere. You know what I mean? To me personally, that's just not my choice. That's not my preference. Whether it's a hot girl summer or it's a cold girl summer, So that's just not my preference. So I don't need to hear about that. What I need to hear is like some good India Ivory acoustic soul. Like, I need to hear something that's like inspirational. Like Beyonce Lemonade album. That's good stuff right there. She's talking about some real life stuff. Same thing with Jasmine Sullivan. Love her new album, The Hotels. She's talking about some real stuff. Even though she's kind of talking about like the same thing, but she's classy with it. You know what I mean? It's a very R&B feel. Megan Thee Stallion is not giving that.
There's a difference between being talking about sex and sexuality and your exploits and discussing that from like a interpersonal relationship type way versus I think just the raw raunchy, just being kind of as like inflammatory as possible about it. Like that's something personally I've struggled. I want to say struggled with, like, in my personal artwork, is I like make photographs, videos, right? Which I put my body in the work, and I'm talking about things that affect my body, which is people projecting sexuality or people projecting these things. And so you end up like less than clothed or in these situations, right?
Yeah.
But what I will say though is the difference is that what I think differentiates my stuff from just being something that's just like porny, which is like the Meg Thee Stallion type vibe, is if we're exploring it from a critical standpoint, or we're looking at this from a standpoint of how do we analyze what this is and how we behave in our relationships in it versus just the sex of it or you know what I mean? Like that's the difference, I think, between like a Meg Thee Stallion and Jasmine Sullivan.
True. And I will accredit this. They're very different genres too. So yeah, and they're very different genres. So it's like comparing apple with oranges, but the premise is, for
it's
me, like
content.
Yeah.
Comparing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Beyonce
me, it's like comparing the content, like the quality of the content. Like, is this something that like is going to last longevity wise, or is it like this is just cool for today?
Exactly. Because some of Beyonce's songs have been very sexual. It's not that Beyonce is not sexual. Yeah. It's just Beyonce is not talking about like putting, like, it's not, I guess it's not as raunchy and baseless. Like, unfortunately, the female rappers, theirs feels very, it's not substantive. It is the sex of it. And that feels more degrading and disgusting than just discussing sex and sexuality from like a relationship
And I was going to say,
standpoint.
Beyonce to me is discussing more of like the sensual nature of being sexual, right? And like leaving the mind to a level of curiosity and more, right? Versus like Megan is like, it's just out there wide open for you, you know?
And
Like to me, that's like, that's the difference.
Yeah, I agree with that, because to me, Beyonce is discussing a level of intimacy related to sex and sexuality that is totally lacking from. Actually, I would say most rap songs are anti-intimacy. Is just
for sure.
And they even use their sexual like prowess as some sort of like status. Like, I have the best, I have bomb pee, or I give bomb head, like what I like all this stuff, right? Like, so it's like all these like ways of using it as a status marker versus discussing what sex usually is as a relationship and an intimacy and a something that is, you know, people are I don't know.
I definitely think like it's kind of like, I'm going to put it in the context of like a photograph, right? So like a boudoir, right? Very like sensual, sexy, creates the mind, or lets the mind create something more out of it. You know what I mean? It leaves a little bit of mystique, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of wondering what's underneath or what's coming next or blah, blah, blah. Versus Megan is just like a full on like nude picture on Instagram. You know, there's nothing else to wonder about. For me, you know what I mean? Like in my mind, there's really nothing else to wonder about. You didn't see it all.
Yeah.
You didn't see everything there is to offer. So,
I mean, there's a power in Meg Thee Stallion too, because it's like, I own what I am, and I'm not going to be ashamed about it, and I'm not going to allow the world to try to, because I can be as sexual and explicit as anybody else. But I think when you take on the explicit nature of these things, you do have to, there's something to be said about when something is just kind of overly explicit. That's the truth. You know, male, female, or whatever, something that's overly explicit is just like too much.
I think what really happens in the rap world is that women are just doing the reverse side of what men are doing. I don't think Megan Thee Stallion's intent is to be like raunchy, you know what I mean? I think her intent is to like own her body kind of thing. And so that, I think that is like the distinction between Megan, right? It is to own the female body and what I can do with this, and, you know, being confident and being like, I have the best, you know, lady cat part, and all that good stuff like that. So like, I get that, but on the other side of that is that while that is your intent as the artist, that's not always how that's perceived.
Exactly. I agree. And I think, unfortunately, in our world, because sex sells, so much is misinterpreted and taken out of context. And, you know, and unfortunately, I feel like young women are usually the ones who are, unfortunately, on the other end of this, who are always celebrated and shamed at the same time. It's like celebrated for doing it, for loving yourself and exploring your body and your sexuality and all that, but then shamed at the same time for even putting yourself out there in that way. So I think young women are, unfortunately, on the other end, on the crappy end of that, you know. But I really, honestly, I can't say anything about Megan, because I'm like, some of the photographs I've produced myself being artistic have been things that I'm sure have been taken out of context by people.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? And things that I'm like, my mom, it's probably like, I wish you wouldn't have put that out there. But like, it was an expression of how I felt about what was happening to me as a woman. You know what I mean? As a young woman. So I can't get on any woman who's expressing that clearly. And as an artist, you take it on. You say, you know what, I'm going to produce this regardless, because this is my experience. And even if some weirdo does take it out of context or whatever, then I'm taking that on because I'm owning it as an artist.
For sure. You know? That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So I have to respect her, and I have to respect her in that, because I would be such a hypocrite if I said that about her, if I didn't respect her in that, and then also produced some of the materials I produce. I mean, not that all my work is like that, but like, you know, I don't want to. I just want to talk out of both sides of my mouth. That's what I'm saying.
Very true. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And who knows what I'll produce in the future too. So I don't want to. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. I don't want to.
Very true. Yeah.
I can't get her too bad.
Well, so what are your
sometimes the stuff they do, I'm like, oh Lord, I wouldn't even do that. Like, and I feel like you know, but I have never done anything nude, and I don't think I would. I don't think being nude is really all that interesting. That's personally me.
Yeah.
But but I think that I always compare it. I'm like, if you know someone says something about something I do, they need to go scroll through Meg Thee Stallion's Instagram, because hers is, she really is putting her ass out there bare, totally.
For sure.
So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So what are we're going to get back on Beyonce for here.
Yes.
I guess for the remainder of the episode. We kind of went on a little tangent there, but that's okay. What are your favorite Beyonce songs?
I mean, how to narrow it down? That's really the question.
Seriously.
I mean, I'll just go through my list. Like I said, I like Check on It. That's classic.
Love it. I remember waking up every morning. This was with like VH1, MTV, and I think there was another channel. One more.
AOL Sessions. AOL
Session. Okay, yeah. So me and Courtney would wake up in the mornings and we had to watch this video. And I'm talking about, we would go from like VH1 watching it to MTV watching it to the last one Courtney just said watching it.
Remember when they played videos? Oh my God, throwback.
Yes, every morning. It was like between like 6 in the morning to like 8. Like, fantastic. They really should do that again.
That was good time. Because that was how you got all the new music.
Seriously. Yeah. They really should do that again. Like, I would watch it.
Should, yeah.
Great.
Wow, that was super nostalgic. I'm like just having core memories right now.
Right? Like, great content.
Exactly.
Anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, Check on It. And then, like I was saying earlier in the episode, Free. That's a new favorite I found. It's on the Destiny Fulfilled album. And then a deep cut, which I really like, is really groovy. It's called Apple Pie a la Mode by Destiny's Child. It's on their second album. You've heard it before?
No.
Oh, yeah. That one's a good one. It's a deep cut, so I don't think a lot of people know it, but it's on the Destiny's Child album. I think it's their second album when it was just Kelly, Michelle, Beyonce. And then Hold Up, which is Beyonce, Lemonade, Get Me Body. Jeez, I can jam to that
honey. Now. Get Me Body, that is my go-to song right there.
On Beyonce's dance track era, like her like club dance era, because that is a big one for that one, and I love that song. Seriously. Love it. And then Deja Vu, yes, especially like Jay-Z's little part coming in there. Love it. Me, Myself, and I, of course, fantastic. Classic B, Crazy in Love, Ego, and then I like Girl, which is a Destiny Child album, then Ring the Alarm, and then School and Life and End of Time, which is on her 4 album, and those are like deep cuts on the 4 album.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's so many more. Like, I mean, I think every time I'm listening to music on my, I like on YouTube or whatever, because that's mainly my music app. I listen to it. I somehow always end up back on a Beyonce song somehow, some way. I'm like, every time I start listening to some other genre or whatever, I end up back on a Beyonce song, and I love it. I love Beyonce.
Oh, me too. Yeah, like Beyonce is like always there through whatever the moment is. If you need a little inspiration, there's a Beyonce song for you. If you need a little pick me up, like after a breakup or something like that, Beyonce got you. If you need like a little sex appeal, a little sensuality, Beyonce got you. If you need a little country, rendezvous every once in a while, Beyonce got you. If you need a little indie, Beyonce got you. If you need a little dance anthem, Beyonce then got you. And not only does she got you, right? It's like intertwined, like within her albums amongst a multitude of genres, let alone she also has like genres as far as her albums is concerned. Like a really good party album, I think, is 4. But a really like sensual album would be Beyonce with like Haunted, Rocket, Drunken Love. And then you got like your inspirational historical, which is Lemonade. Then you have your classics like B-Day. That was like a definitely party anthem mixed with...
It's like her debut album to me felt like stepping into your own as a young woman.
Exactly.
No.
Even Sasha Fierce, like she was owning that stuff. You know what I mean? With
Yeah.
the 2 parts once again. So like, just good stuff. Good stuff.
It's good
Okay, so
stuff.
here's my
I feel
favorites.
like Beyonce. I always say this all the time. I'm like Beyonce 03 is like dream aesthetic for me. Like
Facts.
Beyonce 03, 04, 05. Like that is like when I get up in the morning, I do actually low key like a little bit aim to be like, would Beyonce have worn this? Yes,
What would Beyonce
put it
do?
on.
WWBD. What will Beyonce do?
Like, exactly. Like Beyonce paparazzi out in New York or wherever she
Seriously.
goes.
Yeah,
Like,
Beyonce wasn't really. I'm not gonna lie though. Like back in the day, the outfits were not hitting. Like they
you
were
don't think so?
wearing
Okay,
those
well,
like
it's
little
like
juicy
early
couture
2000s.
suits and stuff like that. That was not it, in my personal opinion.
Okay, well, that's because it's so older now. But like
Well, I
the
think
stuff
back in the
when she
day,
was coordinated with like when she was coordinated with Destiny's Child, like on the red carpet and stuff, I think that's
that's cute. That's cute, I guess. Yeah, back in the day though, I do think like it was definitely more chill vibe. Like you could wear a velour suit from like Juicy Couture and be like, yes, that's cute. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have
yeah,
to like do the whole shebang at a red carpet. Now you better have a freaking Versace everything on.
exactly. Because
But yeah,
actually,
okay. So
they're
here's my favorite.
wearing a lot of stuff that her mom was making for them.
That's true. That's true.
So
Kudos to her. Good, Tina. You did that. You've been killing it, and you still are.
exactly, yeah, I know we
I
love
love Tina.
Beyonce.
I actually follow Tina on Instagram. I love her
I
little
know
posts.
she's
So
on
cute.
Instagram more than like Beyonce and
Seriously.
Solange ever are.
Well,
I'm
I'm
like,
sure Tina has a lot more free time than Beyonce. Beyonce has a child
I know, I'm
or
just
children,
saying.
excuse me. She
It's
has
just funny to
multiple.
me because like Miss Tina's like out here living her life.
Seriously, her
And
best
like
life.
I could just see Beyonce be like, "Mom, stop! Like, why are you?
Seriously.
Why every time I
I
get on
wonder what their
Instagram, you
relationship is
on
like.
there?"
I just feel like it's really like friends.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a good relationship.
Facts. Okay,
I
so
could
here's
see
my
that.
top Beyonce songs, which, honey, it's really all of them, but I tried to narrow it down a little bit, right? So gotta have Checka on it because that is like a classic in my mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which mine is way more like sappy. I guess I'm like a sappy music lover. I don't know. Anyways, Resentment, love that
Classic.
song. I can listen to that song every day of the week, every hour of the day, every second of the day, right? Resentment, great
That's a
song.
low key to me. That's like when to me her resentment to her is like the same as Whitney Houston's "I Will Always Love You." Not on the same
Yeah.
level, but like as
Yeah.
far as Beyonce's catalog, yeah,
Hmm.
resentment to me is like that's the level for Beyonce that I would put
For sure.
resentment on.
I
But go
agree.
ahead.
Yeah, and that's fair. I think
Yeah.
Daddy Lessons, I love that song. It's definitely like a different vibe, which I like a good bit of indie music. So this is definitely giving like indie country. Love it. I love the
Mhm.
song Jealous. I just love like the vibe that it creates. It's like the beat itself is like mysterious. So it's like, but it also has like a little bit of like anger in it. I just love that song.
Mhm.
Get Me Body, classic. I literally still, till this day, still know majority of the dance. So cut that
Mhm.
song on, your girl's gonna be dancing.
Let's go.
Naughty Girl, like that right there just gets you like in a great little mood. Like, love Naughty Girl. I know Corey doesn't like this one, but I like Bonnie and Clyde with her and Jay-Z. That was cute, you know. It was cute. There was like their little debut to the relationship.
I'll halfway
Just,
bob to it.
I mean, it's just like a groovy song, you know. It's like two. I think they're both were like coming into their own at that point. Well, Jay-Z already had his own because he was older, but
Mhm.
that was like their debut. Like, we're in a relationship, we're doing this. So like, okay,
Mhm.
whatever. Gotta Have Hold Up, great song. Great
Mhm.
song. Irreplaceable, just a classic. And She Was Not Taking No Place. You Were Irreplaceable. That right there is like a good like anthem after a breakup. You were irreplaceable. Okay.
Or you are
Anyways,
not irreplaceable.
you're not irreplaceable. Yes. Anyways, but I think it also like in the video, it's just kind of like you got to get your stuff together or you're going to be replaceable. You know.
Yeah.
I think that's why that song's good. Beautiful Liar, banger. I thought I was Shakira and Beyonce, you know, doing the belly roll back
At
in the
like
day.
8 years old, yeah.
Seriously. I don't know
That's
why. Like some of these songs, I'm like, why was I listening to this? But
exactly, yeah.
yeah.
Back in the day, she was turning out hit after hit. Like
Oh,
it was
for
just
sure.
like it was like, especially after that first album, it was like hit, 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 hit. I was like, you can go back and be like, oh yeah, that was a bop. That was a
Yeah.
bop. Was a
Yeah. And
bop.
Beautiful Liar come on today in the club. You already know everybody will be like, oh, you know what I mean? Like,
Yes,
now that we're
yes,
going to clubs because I don't go, but yes, good stuff.
yes. Okay, finish your list.
Honestly, like I'm not a party person, but like a Beyonce party, bro. I think that would be lit.
Yes, she's
Like
the
a
only
Beyonce
person
single
currently
party.
I would pay to go see, like I would pay concert to good money to go see. There really aren't very many people
Really?
I would pay to go see,
You
but
know,
she's
I'll
one.
pay for Beyonce, but also Anita Baker. Like, I will
Yeah,
pay for Anita Baker, but Anita's tickets are if they were more reasonable. Yes.
yeah.
Right now they're not reasonable,
I don't think
but
she's really going on
yeah,
tour like that anymore, though.
yeah. No, I think that's why because it's like you have to
It's like every once in
get
a
her
while.
when you can. So
Yeah.
okay,
No,
so
I
I
would
rather
love
go
to see.
blind. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would have loved to seen her back in the day. I'm not gonna lie. I would have been a concert hopper if this was like
Oh yeah,
1985 to like 92. I would be at all the concerts because I would have been Michael
facts.
Jackson, Whitney Houston, Anita Baker, Luther Vandross, like probably Patti LaBelle. Like I know I'm
Yeah,
such an old lady, but I would have been going. I would have been a frequent concert goer at that
yeah.
time.
I think
Now it's
like
not.
from like I would have went to some back then, but I think like up to like maybe 2010, that's when I would have stopped. Like that's when I would have
Yeah,
like, all right, I could do without this because they
yeah.
like there was like some good people that were around back in the day. Like I probably would have went to like a little Bow Wow concert. You know,
You
like,
think so?
I probably
I
would
would
have.
I think I would have gone to that. I
I
would have
probably would have
stopped
just because it was
after
a
the
vibe.
90s. I would have stopped after like probably the early 2000s. I would have stopped going to
That's
concerts
fair.
because like you could have gone to like the Fugees. I would have gone to a Brandy concert. I would
Yeah, I
have gone to a
definitely went
Monica
there. But I feel
concert,
like those people were still performing then, like heavily.
but not as much as they were when they first came out in the 90s.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay. Anyway, so back to my list.
Yeah.
I'd rather be blind and all I could do was cry. So that's from Cadillac Records. So one of her films that she was in, she like played Etta James. Love those.
Mhm.
So listen to those today. I feel like it was a little underrated, but she definitely blew. So good for her. Soldier.
Mhm.
I wasn't going to include any Destiny Child songs on here, but Soldier is just a bop for me. I love it, especially when Solange came out and she had her little pregnancy belly. Like cute, cute. What a cute little
Very
debut.
yes.
So I wonder if that inspired her to do her debut when she was at the concert when she had Blue, because she kind of did the same thing.
Maybe.
Maybe. Anyways, and then I have Rocket. I love that song too. It kind of goes along with Jealous and it's on the same album. And then I like Sorry, I Ain't Sorry. I'm not apologizing for nothing. Okay,
I
I'm
like
not the
Don't Hurt
problem.
Yourself from that album.
You like what?
Don't Hurt Yourself.
That's a good song too. I like Pray You Catch Me too.
Oh yeah,
Better pray you catch these hands. No, I'm just kidding. That's not what she meant. But that's what I
Yeah,
take it as.
she probably
Interpretation.
did.
She probably did, just in a very classical way. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are my like top Beyonce songs that I'm always like grooving and listening to. But honestly, it really doesn't take much to please me from Beyonce, so I listen to anything.
Yes. Yeah. I actually agree with all these songs. I mean, Jealous isn't my favorite like Beyonce song, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm not a huge
Yeah,
fan of
that's
Bonnie
fair.
and Clyde, but like even if I don't necessarily like a Beyonce song, I'm not totally like repulsed by it. She never makes anything that
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't put that, I can't listen to that.
The only one I just cannot listen to is literally Break My Soul. Like I'm just like,
I really
I
can't.
can't listen to that.
I mean,
I
it's
really
like
like
sometimes I do. I don't listen. I have never like put it on the playlist and be like, yeah, I gotta listen to Break My
exactly.
Soul. But like, I've got it in my head a couple times. Like, you can't break my soul. You
No,
know,
I've never.
when I'm
I'm
like
just
out and out.
I genuinely do not like that song. But I think my music taste is very different now. I'm very much into like calm music, very like relaxed,
Mhm.
chill vibes type of thing, indie, lo-fi. Those are my types of music, and that's very just like, oh my god, like really like voguey, very pop, very.
Yeah, it's kind of house music.
So it's just not my. That's
You
not
don't
something
know.
I'm listening to currently.
You don't know who Cece Peniston is?
No.
Cece Peniston was back. She's back in the '90s. She did more like she has like a house vibe, house like
Mm-hmm.
dance type vibe. Which look at if you don't know what the house genre is, it's basically like when we hear like Vogue music, that's actually
Mm-hmm.
considered kind of that's house. That's what house music would have been back in the day. But Cece
Mm-hmm.
Peniston had a song called "I'm Not Over You." That's like a house type vibe, and then she has a song called "Finally." I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you've heard it. It's like "Finally, I am happy to see you."
Yeah, I
You
know that
never
song.
heard that? It's really, it's
Yeah.
actually pretty famous. They play it in like stores all the time. But let's look up Cece
But I
Peniston
don't.
and let's look
She
on.
doesn't give me like. She gives me like pop, but I guess.
Well, I mean, that's what it's kind of like. It kind of is that pop sound. It became popular, but it really was like underground in the
Yeah,
beginning.
that's true.
It was like house music,
Yeah,
like I
that's
said. It's
fair.
like house.
But I think house music like is like today's pop, right?
I mean, they're making it more pop sound.
Yeah,
Back in the
true.
day, it was kind of it was kind of underground. It was almost like ballroom culture, like that
Yeah,
type
yeah, yeah,
music. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Oh yeah,
Um,
well, voguing was like underground anyway, so that makes sense.
yeah, because it was like attached to like I said, ballroom, like more like drag gay culture. You
Hmm,
know,
hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
so
Yeah, Break My Soul is just really giving that for me. I'm not really a fan. But like I said, like that means nothing about the album whatsoever.
yeah, we
So
don't
I'm like I
know.
said, Break My Soul will probably grow on me in about a couple of weeks. I'm usually like,
I don't think
I'm
I'm
not
ever
feeling it right
gonna
now. And then I'm
love it.
like, oh my God, this is great.
I don't think I'm ever gonna love it. I
No,
don't think
I
so.
don't, yeah. That's one of the songs I definitely would skip over. I'm not gonna lie.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I am always a true blue Beyonce R&B. Like I always want her to be not just strictly R&B, but I always want her R&B roots to come through because I feel like that's where her voice sits the best. That's me.
Yeah.
I think that's where
Yeah. And
her.
then I think also too
Yeah,
that like we just don't have that today. So like we're craving that from
from
the
somebody. Yeah, that's
from
true. You're
someone,
right.
let alone from someone that we know can provide that. So
Yeah,
that's why I like, for me, I'm always craving that like R&B sound,
yeah.
that
Like me
very
myself,
like,
hardcore R&B.
yeah, me, myself, and I, early Beyonce, and I think she gives that in spurts in her current music as well.
Yeah,
But it's spurts. It's not consistently me, myself, and I, or
yeah.
Dangerously in Love, the
Or
album.
Deja Vu,
Hmm.
or
So,
uh,
what's your favorite album then of
your
Beyonce's?
album. Well, I do like B Day. I think that to me that was when she really just she was beyond her first two albums, I think,
Hmm.
and or maybe it was her.
I think it was her third.
That was her second solo, right? Was B Day her
What, B
second
Day
solo?
or
Was B Day her second or
I
third
think
solo?
I, I think that's her
It might be her second.
third. Let
I
me
know it
see.
wasn't her first.
Okay, no, B Day
But
is her second. You're right. So Dangerously in Love was first, and then B Day, and then Sasha Fierce. So yeah.
yeah, so okay, so B Day. I think that's like when she just really like stepped into like her I don't want to say totally grown woman era, but like she was stepping into herself fully as an artist. And I
Yeah, I
feel
think she was
like,
like putting her stamp, like I'm freaking Beyonce, you already know
yeah.
who I
And
am.
that's when the dance songs were on. That's like really like I don't say dance, but like her like kind of more clubby, like I'm a bad B era.
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
we would now call the hot girl era. That was her like her hot girl era, I think. And I feel like that's just the best Beyonce because it has what does it have on it? It has Deja Vu. It
Which
has
one you
Get Me
talking about?
Bodied, B-Day.
Oh, okay.
It
Yeah.
has Get Me Bodied on it. What else did she have on there? I think Resentment was on there.
I thought, is Resentment on here?
I thought Resentment was on there.
Resentment. Yeah,
And Ring
Resentment
the
is on this one. You're
Alarm.
right. Ring the
Ring the
Alarm's on
Alarm.
there.
Uh,
Upgrade You's on there.
Upgrade You.
Deja Vu.
Yeah, that's on like a lot of
Keep
her
Me
real
Cat.
like
That's a good one too.
yeah, and Green Light I think is on there too,
Green
right?
Light. Freakum Dress is on there. Check
Freakum
On It's on
Dress.
there.
Check On It's on there.
Yep, Check On It. Well, she did that with part of the movie, but I think she just
That she put on the
it
album
definitely
too.
album. Yeah.
I didn't know if that was on the first album,
Um,
but
Get
yeah,
Me
I feel
Body's
like
on
that to
there.
me is like that's my older cousin Beyonce, like hot girl Beyonce. Like that's the
Facts.
Beyonce I want to keep in my head forever. I love her.
1000%. Yeah. And even the outfits, like I love the outfits in that one too.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite Beyonce era. So yeah,
Facts. I agree. B Day is definitely my favorite too. It's just like classic, like quintessential Beyonce. Like if to me, if you're thinking of Beyonce, that's what I have in mind right there.
yeah,
Um, love, love, love that album. So, but I mean, I really love all her albums. So it's really hard to choose.
you
It's
know, but
just
her debut album was good too. Crazy, Dangerously
seriously.
in Love was really good too. Like
Hmm.
had some bops on there too, like Crazy in Love, perfect.
Yeah, she has bops on all her
And Me,
albums.
Myself, and I.
Yeah, that's a good one too. She also had Naughty Girl that's on that one.
Naughty Girl's on the first album.
Naughty Girl
Yeah,
is on, yeah, the first album.
first
Baby
album.
Boy with Sean Paul, that's a good one too. That's a bop.
Yeah,
Um
I honestly her first and second album was just like lit for me,
Bangers.
both of them. Really, I could like those are the ones. That's like classic Beyonce to me. When I refer to Beyonce 03, that's what I'm thinking.
Seriously, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely a staple. But Beyonce 06 was coming out hot and fiery now. So let's not forget.
Yeah, it's both of them. That's what I'm saying. And I think she produced those like all in her early to mid 20s.
Yeah.
Which is like typically your hot girl era. Well, your hot girl can go to your 95.
Beyonce was really dropping these albums in the early 2000s.
What'd you say?
Beyonce was really dropping these albums in the early 2000s.
She really was.
She had one in 2003. Well, her record is about every 3 to 4 years she produces something. So 2003, 2006, 2008, and then she has some like stuff with her concert. And then 2011, 2014, 2016. Then we obviously got Lion King, which was that an entire album or was that just a few songs?
I think that was a few songs, or maybe it was. No, it was a few songs. I think. I don't think it was a whole album.
Yeah, I think she produced the album. Maybe that's what it was.
Well, then she also did Homecoming.
Homecoming, yep, she did.
With Coachella.
With Coachella, yep. And then now we're getting this album.
So she hasn't made a full studio album since 2016, right?
Yeah, since 2016, which is
Lemonade, actually. Right?
Yeah, Lemonade. Yep, Lemonade.
Dang,
well, technically, Lion King is an album. It's just she pretty much produced it. So like how they like get that artist to like help create the music for that. That's what she did. So but it has a lot of like other people on it, and it's not just a Beyonce album.
Gotcha. I don't know why I heard rumors that she was like voice. She was a voice in the movie. Was she not a voice in the movie?
Yeah, she was. I think she was. Was she Nala? I think she was Nala.
Oh, she was. I never saw the live action then. I just never saw it.
It was not good. That's one thing I also will say that was not good. So sorry.
Okay, I didn't know. So she voiced the whole character. I didn't know she voiced that whole character.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yep, she was Nala. I think you should watch it. It's on Disney. It's on Disney Plus. Watch it, and tell me what you think because I was not very.
I never liked it. I'm not gonna lie. Cartoon animated Disney, Lion King was never my favorite. Go ahead, shoot me. I know.
Okay, how could you not like Lion King? But like, I do like Lion King, but what I just didn't. I didn't like. She sounds very like. You just have to watch it and tell me what you think because I was like, well, why do you sound like that? Like she just sounds very like, oh. Why are you walking like that, Simba? I'm like, what? Why do we sound like this?
Yeah. Why? Classes. Maybe they altered her voice.
And the thing is, I think she is a good actor because like she played in
she was really good in Cadillac.
She played in what's that movie she played where she was like the crazy wife? Dreamgirl, she did really good. Catalog Records, Obsession, like I think she did okay in that other movie too. What's that first movie she did? Fighting Temptations, that was okay.
I think her best role is when she plays singers. I'm not gonna lie. I think she does her best work when she plays a singer.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, her specialty is singing, so that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, she did a really good job in Cadillac Records. I think that's better even than
I think she did really good. Yeah. No.
Yeah, I think she really did it.
Which most of her movies she did were like singing. So the only one she really didn't do that was singing, which she sings in Lion King, so I guess.
Yeah.
But
remember she was in she did kind of a cameo, it wasn't really a role, but in Pink Panther. She was in
she was in there for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, she was in there really long. And I
remember she said like maybe 2 words.
In this movie. And she was in there for like all of 10 minutes, maybe.
Seriously, it was like a hot little second. It was not long at all. Same thing with like Fighting Temptation. She was in there for like a couple little seconds.
No, she was one of the main characters.
I mean, yeah, but like she really did not have any major parts.
Well, she was one of the main characters
in Fighting Temptations.
Yeah, she gets with Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character.
Maybe I need to rewatch the movie.
Yeah,
I don't remember her having like a very like
Beyonce is the girl. She is the girl.
I need to watch the movie again. Let me watch the movie again, then I'll come back on that one because maybe I'm wrong. Because I was gonna say I feel like it didn't have like She was not that present. Maybe I'm talking about Austin Powers. Was it Austin Powers that she?
It may be Austin. It might be Austin Powers.
Maybe it's Austin Powers. I don't know. Anyways, apparently she played in a movie called Carmen. It's a hip opera.
Oh my God! How could I forget Carmen the hip opera? Yes,
I've never seen that.
Oh my God, watch it. Okay. There's something people don't really understand. Besides Hallmark Christmas movies, which everyone knows, I love Hallmark Christmas movies.
Love
and it's my guilty pleasure. Something else I love is when people take classics, something like Carmen, because Carmen Jones is a classic opera, and then it became a classic film in the 50s with Dorothy Dandridge. I love when they take classics and give them a hip hop twist to them and make them like B movies. I love it. I don't know why.
Now we're getting into the territory.
That's what I'm saying. It's like this weird, like, I don't know. Is it a kink? Maybe. I don't know what it is.
Oh God.
But I love it.
Don't call it that. It's a preference.
It's a preference. Well, I mean, it's the same. A kink is kind of a preference, I guess. But like, no, okay, it's not sexual, but it's like, I just love it. Like, I love when they kind of like make it low. Like they take something that is so highbrow and make it lower brow, but make it like not lower brow, but like I kind of love it. It's like bringing it back to the people in a way.
I guess it makes it more relatable, maybe.
Because it's like they take the story of Carmen Jones and make it more hip hop, and so they put Beyonce. Beyonce's like Carmen Jones, and she gives it this like vibe. I think it was a TV movie. But I recently saw another one too, where they took The Great Gatsby and made a hip hop version of it, and they call it G instead of like Gatsby. They call it G, and they take the story of The Great Gatsby and make Gatsby like a record producer.
I have to watch that too. That sounds interesting. I do actually enjoy The Great Gatsby, so that's fair. And while we're on the topic of like low quality movies, I love me a good like rom-com that's very low budget. Not low budget necessarily, but very like B2. I just watched one yesterday. Like I was talking to somebody and I was like, I love these movies. Like I literally at the end of them are always crying. But like Harriet, I watched Harriet with Cynthia Erivo. I was not crying. I wanted to go fight somebody. You know what I mean? Like I should have been crying because I was like talking about slavery and like her fight to freedom. It was very saddening. But I was like, no, I want to fight after that movie. You know what I mean? This movie, I'm over here about to cry. And it's just like she found the love of her life. Like, why are you enjoying this? First of all. Second off, this is literally a B movie. The acting is terrible, but I love it.
That's what I'm saying. I give myself a pass on those kinds of movies because I'm like, it's something about when they take something that's like supposed to be like very highbrow and then I don't want to say bring it down, but like give it a twist that makes it not as highbrow. It's something about it I don't know.
It really is. It's just something about it. You know, you just can't.
It gives it culture.
Facts.
Somebody's gonna be like, what the heck? This is weird. Anyway.
Yeah, facts. But that's okay. You know, everybody has their little, as Courtney likes to say, kinks. So
preference. Film kinks.
Oh, now preference. Okay. Anyways. Okay. I don't know if you saw, but along with the album release coming, right, of Renaissance Act 1, there possibly maybe a part 2 or whatever. There also are Renaissance box sets. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. It has t-shirts and CDs and stuff.
But it's they're like mystery boxes. So it comes in like 4 poses. What do you think the poses are? What do you think?
Poses as in like model poses or what?
I don't really know. So that's what it said on the website. If you go to Beyonce.com, and obviously they're sold out by this point, but the boxes, there's 4 different poses, and they're all like mystery boxes. So you don't know what you're getting. You're just going to get a t-shirt, you get a CD, and then you get the cool little box, I guess. I mean, as far as the website is concerned, it looks really cool. It's like this holographic little thing on the website. Really interesting, I guess. But I think it's just a basic t-shirt.
It's giving me like early 2000s cyber aesthetic. Like, you know how the early 2000s, they try to make like, they're like being really futuristic and like Xenon Z3, you know?
It's definitely giving like Janet Jackson. What's that album called by her? The futuristic one?
Talking about.
That's what it's giving to me.
Yeah, it's kind of giving that.
What is that album called?
I know it. I can see it in my head. It's the video with her and Busta Rhymes.
Yeah. And they're like all the Rhythm Nation. There we go.
No, it's not Rhythm Nation.
It's not Rhythm Nation?
Rhythm Nation was in the 80s.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. What's the name of that album then?
I don't know. It's just giving me like, it's giving me early 2000s cyberspace.
No, I think that is it Control then?
No, Control was in the 80s too. Control was before Rhythm Nation.
Then
I don't know what the name of the album is. It's the album with like Doesn't Really Matter from the Nutty Professor.
What?
No. You don't know what I'm talking about?
I think so. I don't know.
Doesn't Really Matter, like 2000s, Nutty Professor, when she was a Nutty Professor.
I don't think it's that one. But maybe. I'm thinking about the one like her in the video with her and Michael Jackson.
Scream.
There we go. Yeah, Scream.
Oh my gosh.
But that's not on her. That's not even her album. That's freaking Michael's. So that's probably the problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Scream. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's it.
I should know that. I'm disappointed.
Yes. I don't know. Well, she does have one with Busta Rhymes. I don't know what the name of that song is, but it kind of has that vibe too. But yes,
isn't it giving Scream now?
Yeah, it is giving Scream.
Especially with those little like suits. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So what do you think like the poses mean? I think there's going to be like different types of like pictures of Beyonce on it, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I think. Or different like album art or CD covers and different T-shirts with different things on it, and like maybe little trinkets and stuff.
Yeah, well, it already tells you what comes in the box. It's literally a T-shirt, the box, and a CD.
Oh well.
Yeah, that's it.
That seems to have different like looks with Beyonce on it, which is so interesting. She's selling CDs because nobody
uses those.
Who uses? Well, I do.
Yeah,
you know, I do. Me and like 3 other people in the country buy CDs still.
Yeah,
I get excited when I find CDs at a thrift store. Actually,
facts.
And guess what? I think I'm gonna get a Walkman cassette player.
Oh God, please stop. First of all, in 5 years from now, are you going to be able to find batteries to supply that? Like, come on.
Well, I think they take AA batteries. Well, okay, there's some companies that back in the day sold these types of, their main thing was making Walkmans or making radios and so like, audio equipment. So they sell them now as like repurposed vintage. So I think they make them work for what we have now. I want to get a little Studebaker radio too, an AM FM radio, and I want to get a boom box, which I actually have one at home. But
you were just living in the 90s, honey.
And I want a cassette player, cassette player and recorder, and a record player.
You're just living for this, aren't you?
It's kind of crazy. You need 8 different machines just to do what your phone does.
And that's why you stream. That is why. This is why people have Spotify. People have Tidal. People have whatever.
It is easier to have Spotify. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, like, you literally have like 15 different gadgets.
Okay, imagine it's 95. You got your Walkman cassette player, so you can listen on the go, and then you got your CD boombox at home. And
mind you, in the car, in order to listen to it in the radio, you have to have the little cassette with the string that connects to your Walkman. Like, who has time for this?
You have the 8-track in the car that switches CD, or you have a CD switcher.
Or it's the 8-track in the glove department. Like, what?
And you got to, and don't try to switch CDs in the car.
Right? In the car while you're driving.
You're like halfway have an accident trying to like grab the CD.
This is a hazard. That was a hazard.
It was.
And then you have the bag phone trying to tumble with that. Like, oh my gosh. It's a mess. Literally a mess.
Love it.
And the thing is, you were trying to accomplish that. That's the odd part.
Well,
are you trying to reach that goal?
I'm not trying to reach a goal. It's just, I'm trying to like, I see it. I'll always have my phone. My phone will always be there. We're never giving up the phone. We keep modern conveniences, okay?
When it's convenient.
It's just for the aesthetic. Like, can't you see with my little like Walkman walking around the park?
You walk around with those headphones. I'm like, what are you doing?
You think it's weird I walk around with headphones?
Who does that? Everybody has ear pods or ear buds or whatever they call them these days.
I know. I walk around with big ass headphones.
The funny thing is you'll be living like 100 times longer than we will. We'll over here giving all our brains this radiation every day. So
exactly. Because I listen to big headphones and I don't eat cheese. I'm gonna outlive everybody. Watch.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, sometimes I do get stared at and I'm like, what are these people staring at? And I remember I have these big ass, like, and I just got some Sony ones that are like big
Oh
and
my
white little headphones. I
God.
keep my cord connected. Like I listen to my headphones.
Oh
Yeah.
God. That's crazy.
I'm keeping it. I like it.
I bet you do. I bet you freaking do.
I didn't realize how weird it looks to people. Because I'm like, what are
It
these people
is.
looking at? Because I definitely be just walking around in public like headphones.
Right? As if it's normal. And you first of all, you don't even see nobody on the street with that. So
Yeah, you're right.
anyways, guys, so we want to thank everybody for listening to this episode where we just kind of like give a little tribute to Beyonce and her as the legend that she is.
Yes.
As well as like what we thought or think Renaissance will entail, right? So the album Renaissance Act 1 releases on July 29th. So we will be expecting that, which we will also have an 1107 in Dark listening to the album and sharing our thoughts and opinions on that. So make sure you tune into that playlist. And which I wonder if it will be available on Spotify and maybe not. Listen to the album and then come here. Yeah, it'll be on Tidal. At least I have Tidal, so I'm pretty sure you can stream it on most platforms. But make sure you give that album a listen and then listen to our Keiko's Talks 1107 in Dark episode where we're discussing our thoughts and opinions on the actual album once it's dropped. And so, yeah, if you're a Beyonce fan, let us. I think everybody is, so I'm not even going to say that, but I hope you enjoyed this episode if you're a Beyonce fan.
I met two people one time in life who were like, I don't get the hype around Beyonce. I mean, it's not that I don't like her. I just don't get the hype around her. And I was like,
facts. And they were men.
You wear tube socks. Sit down.
Yeah. First of all, second off, too, those men are very like negative towards women. So it's like that tells you a lot to me personally. If you don't like Beyonce, like first of all, Beyonce has done nothing wrong to anybody. Okay, so like, and she really is like a genuine talent.
Like, why are you hating on Beyonce? Beyonce is just like amazing. There's really nothing to like hate on, honestly, in my opinion. Like,
and I can see they were like, I don't like her music. Okay, that's fine. But for you to be like specifically, I don't like Beyonce, that tells me a lot. You know how like in Nunu said in ATL, that tells me a lot about a man. If you don't like Beyonce, that tells me a lot about a man.
That tells me a lot about a person. Woman. Like, what is
seriously? How do you not like Beyonce? I just want you to know, for the haters that don't like Beyonce, on July 29th, everybody about to be bopping that album. So go ahead and get ready, because haters gonna hate.
It's not your day. Stay inside.
Exactly. It's Beyonce's day. So relax, chill out, go hide in a cave, and be prepared for the next couple of months. Everybody's gonna be bopping that stuff. So whether it's good or not.
Exactly. I'm claiming it's gonna be good. Beyonce don't put out anything that's not worth.
I have no worries whatsoever. Just because I don't like this one song does not mean I'm not going to like the album. And honestly, like I said, even if I don't like the song, eventually at some point it grows on me. So I'll probably end up liking it in about a month. And I'm well aware of that. So
I'm just hoping it's more like classical R&B Beyonce. I want to hear, something crazy in love, some deja vu, something that's going to like get me twerking in the mirror.
Seriously.
I don't twerk, but
that's okay.
Imagining that I do.
That is okay. To Beyonce, we will definitely try.
Exactly. Well, anyways, it was great talking. The day that this comes out actually should be the day that the album's released. So hopefully, if you haven't already listened to it, you will listen to it. Because we plan to drop this on the day of her album release. So. Yes, we're hoping.
Yeah, listen to the album so you can then listen to our 1107 in Dark and get a good feel of what we think on the new album. So
exactly,
the countdown has begun. We have like 2 weeks until the album comes out.
That's exciting.
Who's excited? It really is. Like, I'm always excited for Beyonce.
She has release parties. Like, I feel like she has small release parties with like her kids.
Yeah, she's really private, so I don't know.
Not that I'm getting an invite or anything, but
look, if you want to invite your girls, we'll take the invitation. We will gladly be there.
Exactly.
But yeah, so thanks for tuning in to another episode, guys. We hope to see you guys in the next one.
Bye, guys.